Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Welcome. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches.
Welcome to flight.
Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches.
Welcome to flight.
Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches.
Welcome to flight.
Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches.
Open apply.
Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, winter, winter. Welcome. Winter, winter, Winternomics.
Oh, okay, I got it. Mic check 1 2. Everybody got me? So none of that was heard, huh?
Testing 1 2 3. I don't know.
Check, check, check. Anybody got it?
See what the delay is on this.
Check.
Oh, there we go.
Mic
Yeah,
check
we're good.
1 2. You guys got it? All right. My
Alright,
bad.
there we go.
Audio snafu, man. Sorry about that. So yeah, we are in this bitch. Again, this is Black Order, the Hunger Games, appropriately named. You already know what the fuck's coming. You can see it. We got a panel returning that I want to introduce. We got Above the Bias and Burger Tamagotchi, both returning from Cash Cycle 5, and Burger from the previous Black Orders, and along with Dr. D and newcomer Tiki Hakamiki. This represents an era of Nebula trained. Above the Bias is 2014 OG from the first year we started this shit. Burger is the universe ecosystem of 2017. Dr. D is the first Nebulan of Nebula 1, and Tiki's Nebula 3. So we have some badasses across the years joining us to discuss the end times, I guess, right? Vix Mageddon shit.
Yeah.
So
Fucking love it.
you gotta do it, gotta do a style. If we're gonna talk about shit, we gotta do a style. So everybody hears their voices, everybody's good. Unmasked says no sound. That's probably unmasked.
And it's good everywhere.
Okay.
Yep,
Everybody
everyone
else
else
saying
is
it's good.
So
Yep.
we got a small panel. It's evening time. I'm guessing we lost some of our Europeans by now. As you know, in the last 2 Black Orders, we're pretty much able to lay out, the unfolding of this disease and the mutations of it, and the never-ending boosters that we'd be in, and the change in the world that's pretty much gone one way and never going the other. Today we have another evolution in the world that likely, a lot like 9/11, is a genie that's out of the bottle that never really goes back in there. So we thought we'd talk about it because some of the shit that's coming our way right now is the kind of shit you wish to stay in a movie and not be in real life. But whatever the fuck happened in 2012, we're on some kind of timeline where the shit that was on TVs out in the real world, and the shit in TV's not even half as good as what the fuck's on, happening on the news tonight. Shout out to Peace Outside and Patty Newman, dropping some bits or whatever you call it on this network. Appreciate you guys. So, without further ado, let's talk about what we're seeing here with Vladimir Putin invading Ukraine. Shit is definitely fucking crazy right now. And this was always something that was coming. So, Above the Bias has been around for many, many, many years. And I hope I know which one of these is it. Shit. This should be this one. You guys see Discord? Somebody check that for me.
I don't know what the delay is, but right now I only see Zoom.
I changed it, so you see something.
There it is.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we're
So
good.
this is a conversation. As many of you may know, I've had like trolls that have been attacking me for years, and my Twitter was taken out by those guys a few years ago. But I was able to establish the timeline that pretty much carries a conversation that we had 6 years ago, talking about what will be happening today. The projections we made in 2015 through 2018 basically encapsulated this as part of the space cash narrative and the fight for the planet and the fight for being off the planet that would unfold and how it would unfold. So that's a quick summary in what you're looking at on the screen. So this was part of the situation, But World War III, the stage for this has been set. For myself, I've been paying attention to this for 20 years. Russia and China became strategic partners in 2002 militarily. That's the first war game they ever did. I believe their official agreement is 2001. The first war game they ever did as an ally was 2002. At that time, the 9/11 had happened, and when I saw that, instantaneously, I'm like, there's no one else in the world that's for but the United States of America. So I've been watching this narrative develop for 20 years and watching them position themselves across that kind of range of time to take this shot. Unfortunately, we've been together so long that we've now lived into the timeline of this fucking fucked up scenario, and here we are. So this is a conversation that I had, with people in the past, and who the players would be of World War III. So with this, I'm just trying to get some context to some couple things to show you guys. These were the players that I thought would be parties to the war, right? The main players would be Russia, China versus the USA, UK, and Germany and Japan would be forced to rearm, which they've actually begun to do so because NATO is starting to crumble and show some weaknesses, right? Japan began their rearmament in 2020, and Germany also is now, with the situation with Russia, forced to do something. So this was the factors that should be present when we're looking at like the potential Vixmageddon. For any of you that saw Vixmageddon, right, that's a fear shockwave that looks like it should fucking arc into the 2030s, late 2020s, 2030s, and pretty much lead to population reduction on the planet. The main factors that I believe would be present when we would have a chance to have population reduction would be there would be a pandemic in the air, a war, and a famine. Putin is now threatening the silent weapon, food, and so we do have the components of the components in the air now for what is likely to be a correction in the parabolic bull market of human beings as a whole. Human beings as a market have been in bull market phase for about 11,000 years post, the Ice Age. And we've come from fucking next to nothing to 7 billion. 5 of the 7 billion added just since the Federal Reserve was created. A significant portion of that also added through the invention of synthetic fertilizer. So these are some things we're going to talk about today to kind of set the stage for what we're looking at coming forward for us. It's a lot of shit, but that's what it's going to take to kind of get you guys an idea of what we're really dealing with. So, all right, panel, you guys ready?
We're ready.
That was a lot, right? All right, so.
Good intro, though.
Huh? Good intro? I got that all out? Like, you guys have any idea what it
pretty
takes to get set for this show right now to even be focused enough to fucking remember all that shit?
I'm already traumatized.
Right.
So I guess I got to start a trauma counsel line. Everyone's coming to my shows talking about their fucking heart rates going faster. So if you've been around for a while, we're reasonably accurate on the stuff that we've been forecasting. And as much as I like to get the puzzle right, I really don't want to be in this puzzle when this one works out. So maybe we can jinx it, and this will be the big miss of Kazo's fucking career, and I don't mind missing this shit because it's fucking not something you want to live to see.
I would love for this to be your big fail, right?
That's the thing. Everyone wants this to miss so bad. That's what makes you hit it. Like if you all like said, "Oh, this is absolutely gonna happen," we'd probably be okay. We need Leon to do something useful for a change and stop fucking everybody in the asshole. So, you know, part of this too. So if I can find the chart, hopefully I can find this fast enough while I'm scrolling back up Discord. I think I dropped this in an order I can figure out where it is. So we're gonna present a couple of elements here. I'm trying to find the space cache chart that I dropped in this thing. Fuck.
Well, people need, if they need context, they need to look back at your fixed call from March 2020 at the lows. And that was when people all of a sudden decided to collectively observe that, oh my God, it's going to be the end of humanity right here. And that was what actually helped everyone get onto the other side.
Is that, dude, you know, I really feels like we're in an alternate timeline. You know, the Trump era of presidency looking as ridiculous as it did, shit just doesn't seem for real, you know. This chart right here, this is the original call for space cache. So in 2015, some of the factors I saw out there led me to believe that it was probably time for us to try and colonize Mars. And so that would likely have a technological curve that would take into the 2020s to like see the component parts of that, you know, the peripheral parts of the industry fabricate to allow this to happen, right? You need advanced 3D printing, you need better propulsion, you need a whole bunch of shit that's not there yet, but you can kind of see where this is going. Russia and China are not stupid. You know, after years and years of going back and forth to Mars, they kind of caught on that something was important to be going there for. So this was the call for Bitcoin to actually be space money in the 2020s, which Elon Musk finally arrived at. Yeah, this could be the money of Mars. Really just makes sense to send value at long distances on the blockchain, you know, a really crazy utility, but an off-world utility. So this is all part of a prediction in 2015 that we'd be going to space and that the Russians and the Chinese would try to stop us. And so what you see, the economic collapse that we're all kind of in, this is all supposed to happen, right? In order to fucking stop the US and the West from really capturing Mars, you have to cripple the economic systems that would fund it. As you can see, China, Russia, and Mars all seem to be in a three-way fight. China, Russia, and Mars. China, Russia, and the United States all seem to be in a three-way fight to sabotage the inner workings of their own economies. But while they're even doing this, what's crazy is that you still see Russia attempting to set timelines, you know, for its lunar mission to get stuff out in space while they're jamming the shit out of us. That's the entire plan, because whoever gets out into space and gets weapons out there gets control of an entire fucking planet. How fucking great does that sound, guys? Right? So you see this, right? Putin is very much still trying to maintain a space timeline while he's in an invasion, while threatening the entire planet's food supply, while threatening Europe with fucking energy. Do you know what it takes to fucking still stay on this track while the whole planet's wrecked, supply chains are wrecked, like nothing's functional? This was always the target. Keep the West on the ground and beat them to death on Earth before they get into space and you are permanently their slave, which you've been for fucking, you know, as long as Putin has been alive. You've been under the foot of fucking the West, trying to sabotage the Soviet Union and trying to collapse Russia into the fucking ground. This man has serious grievances and has serious reason to be pissed the fuck off, to try and get from under a unipolar world that the United States like obviously controls to an insane degree with the US dollar, with various metrics and their allies to fuck your economy up if you don't do what they say and make sure they benefit disproportionately. So that's in some further context, right? He's maintaining a space timeline and a time frame that you wouldn't really think that's going to be the most pressing fucking issue you could have. But he is staying the course of something crazy. You know, what do you guys think of that?
I mean, over the last 2 years, we've seen like the US, NASA has made announcements saying they've been pushed back on all their schedules. And China has said, we're still on schedule. And then Russia's announcing, hey, we're going to start this. Like, it doesn't look good for the US in this race.
Not at all.
They've really fallen asleep at the wheel.
Which makes a lot of sense since we haven't had a competent president in like 6 years now.
And everyone in America thinks that America is the best. It's been the story that our generation has grown up with. So there is a general understanding, like general complacency overall, that there could be something more than America. Like the thought of that does not exist, in my opinion.
Yo, what in the world?
What's going on?
All right, something crazy. Hey, I don't know why that was never there before, but you guys like that are in the chat, say something again for us and see if it pops on the screen. It had done something to the chat window for some crazy reason. Dude, Streamlabs is literally got demons in it, bro. It just fucks with me the whole time I'm live. I didn't do anything to I've never changed that. You'd think I fucking like just deleted it myself just to fuck my shit up. All right, you guys are back. I was like, where are they? Like, they're always usually on the screen.
There we go.
There you guys go. Got you. Sweet. You're back. So we are going to be moving off of Twitch, by the way, over to YouTube. We finally got partnered with YouTube. Unbelievable.
Yes.
And Twitch has denied me that for fucking years. So I guess, they can't grow over there because they won't do it. So we're going to do this over here. Anyways, this subject's too good to fucking break ranks, so we got to get back to it. So, above the bias, you remember this conversation in 2016, bro, on Twitter, the threads we made, like 400 or 500 threads strong, and people thought we were fucking sane talking about this.
I remember those threads as well from having gone through your tweets.
Above the bias, this is your moment.
No, yeah. I didn't, to be honest, I first of all, we've been talking about this, as you said, for a while. I thought we had more time, but
we lived into the time. It's the mid 2020s. Remember, that's the timestamp. In 2016, like when you're like you're 20 years old. It seems like that's really far off. But as a guy who's close to 40, 5 years goes by like that, dude. That's the fucking fucked up part for me. So like this is like shit. I'm in 2022. It's like the stupid prediction. Yeah, we're in this bullshit. It's like fuck. This sounds really great to talk about. Out the fuck there. Stay the fuck away from me. And we'll talk about it like, but yeah, we're actually lived into it. So this is it, right? The VIX-Mageddon shockwave times out for something massive in 2035. Likely the correction begins before that. So I have an illustration to make about how to perceive humans like a market graph that we're going to do a little bit later. And I want to draw that for you. And if you thought you were terrified before, this will be much worse.
Yeah.
So... that's gonna cliffhanger. So, yeah, it's just crazy, man.
I don't watch horror movies anymore.
We're living it. We're living it.
Literally, just watch the news.
Ever since something like 2013, what that little kid say, the Hadron Collider put us into a parallel world, and shit started to look like fucking like Back to the Future 2. This shit looks like a fucking bad movie, like a low budget shitty one. That's why Donald Trump's only got like 4 big words. Like, it's very sad, very sad. And he's talking to like fucking 6-year-olds and shit, bro. It's fucking crazy. So, can we delay the correction? Are you guys pleading with me to delay? I don't have any idea how to do that. Like, so me and KJ tried to jinx VIX-Mageddon by making it really public. That was like the point. That was the motivation we had. When I was talking to him, he's like, Jesus fucking Christ, this is for real. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, yeah, it's on the chart. He's like, no, this is for real. I'm like, yeah. For me, I guess I don't sound as traumatized just because I'm solving a puzzle, but everyone's just like having a heart attack. He's like, so based on the rule of the atom, he's like, we should tell everybody. I'm like, yeah, if we want to make it not fucking scarce. And he's like, that's why we did VIX-Mageddon, literally to fucking make it not scarce. This is the call I want to miss. Trust me, this is not... I didn't really be 68 when this started, so I have a good chance of dropping dead as it kicks off. But I'm like young enough to be right in the middle of the fucking hell on Earth. Because, we're talking about a correction of like, 1.5 to possibly 3 billion human beings. Do you know what it's going to be like to live through that and be the survivor on the back end? It's, possibly every one of us in the damn network doesn't pull it out.
I mean, like, people have been complaining, like, yo, like, we've got traumatic stress disorder from fucking COVID, like, which was 1 million people in the U.S. Like,
traumatic
imagine
stress?
It was 100 million people in the U.S.
You don't know traumatic stress.
This entire new generation, Gen Z, and their ability to cope with stress as well. This is going to be completely mind-blowing for them.
So here we're, this is a Snow. She's one of the OGs from Above the Biases room, and this is the kind of shit people were talking to us, right? New space sector, would that be the space in your head, right? And screenshotted for further gloating. Like, this isn't sort of coming. Like, this isn't an if. While people are busy walking around boxes in the desert, bowing to fucking cubes and shit and worshiping a few pieces of wood, these motherfuckers are up here trying to capture planets and shit. These bitches are out in the fucking, like, Bedouins in the fucking desert, and the real world's in the fucking, like, future, like, Star Wars battle for fucking planets. It's 2 different worlds side by side. And, the plebs, they're fucking go to Sunday and ask some fucking deity to fucking, like, suck their dick, and then the other motherfuckers are gonna go out there and make shit happen. So... you don't really got to sell a pleb this shit. All you need to know is the motherfuckers don't get it to know that it's really still coming. So here we are, trying to be on space, trying to be on Mars, trying to sabotage each other. There's a pandemic out there, food crisis, energy crisis, every kind of fucking crisis. Because if anyone's got a free and clear economic system to push hard and get the fuck out there, you get to point weapons at Earth, everybody else is fucking done. So this is the battle of our time, you know? This is World War III, and you've been in it, you know? It's a minute before you fucking have weapons flying at each other that you guys perceive as war. But you're very much in what Putin said, an economic war. So this is all crazy. This is a forecast also. Part of that same call, the chart I showed you, was, you know, in 2015, there was a treaty to ban to ban any nation laying claim to an asset off world. But as you know, the United States doesn't fucking keep promises, and they'll change rules when they want something, like they're doing with Putin, sanctioning, but you got to pay your debt, but not with your money. You got to pay with this, or you defaulted. How could you? What the fuck ever, right? It's a bunch of bullshit. So at the end of the day, we'll see how long this lasts. When someone finds the asteroid full of gold, asteroid full of gold found, Senate reverses everything. And this is under Obama, where he couldn't get shit passed, but they got a bipartisan fucking panel to pass that, when that motherfucker can't pass a fucking goddamn toll plaza. So this shit's crazy, right? They passed that shit, and there's your fucking giant rock of gold many years later. They knew that shit was out there, right? And don't be fooled. This rock ain't coming back to you and grandma. This is going to the select few people who can get it. You're going to be the slave fucking equity to fucking make it happen. You're going to be the battery in the matrix that makes the ship go. You ain't getting shit. So don't ever fucking think this is about you. They're going to get a rock and fuck you. But anyways, this is the call. So
you mean I don't get some of the gold too? I was going to be blinged the fuck out.
You're expecting that? You might be fucking, you might be smoking rocks.
Space rocks.
So, at the end of the day, Mars had some shit on it that was worth going up there for. In the 70s, they found, what looks like remnants of ancient civilization, and they kept flying there, but lying to the people that they were fucking anything up there. Ultimately, NASA even named the city itself on Mars, for what they found. They found structures, kept flying there, but told her it was a red ball of dirt. It's a red ball of dirt. They wouldn't always know to go up there. They tell people all kinds of stupid shit. Ultimately, that fucking ruse, fell apart. And shit changed. This was a joke I made back in 2013, Who's serious about living on Mars? People mock this shit, and you know what? That's exactly the fucking sentiment read you need to realize it's coming. So, go fast forward a little bit into this shit. And, sorry, I had to get the next one. This is what the world used to believe Mars looked like, right? They believe it was a red ball of dirt. Red ball of dirt, nothing on it. The reality was that the sky isn't red on other planets because it's fucking red, because in the picture. There's only stupid fuckers in the past 5th grade who believed it. The sky is blue in every fucking world. There was just a crock of shit lie they told people, and this is the real Mars, right? So there's something up there to get. And if you change a photograph, motherfucker, you know it, and that's a guilty conscience. Ultimately, the Russians and Chinese know it now. So now it's like, okay, you lied for decades, and you're trying to get off the planet while you stall people? Fuck that. Everybody's going to stay the fuck down here, and we're going to let you know who the fuck actually is going to call shots for the world of humankind. That's a more of a context of what you're dealing with to give you an idea how big this situation driving what you're seeing in Ukraine is. Ukraine is just a fucking an Archduke Ferdinand false flag to kick off something for a much greater purpose, But this is a world worth fucking checking out. Anyways, this is ancient Mars. If you never knew it, this is what it once looked like. And as funny as the Elon Musk situation you see going on right now is, what's really crazy about it is that Elon is no stranger to this, right? Many of you saw Elon's big old flamethrower. Well, in Elon's office behind him is the original Mars and the today Mars. They are all aware of this. They are all literally working on capturing a planet while most people fucking worried about their fucking, Web 2, Web 3 personas or whatever the fuck is plaguing them today. I know it's a lot. I'm trying to give this a context within the time frame that we have. It's a lot to take in to get what's really driving this fucking battle on the ground, because it's a battle in space that's really fucking underlying everything. As crazy as that all sounds, right? So our main players, we're back to this. World War III, right? A battle between the East and the West for all times. Pandemics out there, subvariants out there, likely another comeback in the winter. We're gonna see some shit, right? This is gonna come back, and we're not done yet. So, right now you guys see the food crunch showing up in the East. If you didn't listen to us when we said to go stock up in Discord and stuff like that, things have changed already by today from when we said it just days ago. This is much different than the COVID supply chain issue, right? Putin is attacked in the planting season. He has basically thwarted the plant for new crops, stopped the delivery of current crops, and is choking you for fuel that's going to get worse. This really isn't the main play. Get to the next harvest season and come up with a light harvest behind the fact that fucking many countries are running out of grain now, slaughtering livestock because they can't feed them, and give it fucking 6 months, and you don't think he's going to be able to negotiate with nuclear weapons, fucking the cold and hunger? Your countries will fall a fucking part overnight. When people go hungry, you cannot stop what comes next. When it's a fight for survival, you will have social upheaval everywhere. For the crimes the West has done to step on so many countries with unilateral fucking like power and just absolute corruption, he's going to make everyone feel what the sanctions felt like to all his people. He's going to do it to the whole planet that stood by while they did this to Russia for the last 4 decades. And he's going to twist that fucking knife really slow. So if you haven't done this, I'm telling you, non-perishables, stock up something serious. Worst case, you have extra food. When this runs dry, there's no grain coming. There is no more anything coming. And it's going to be like a slow build, like a bull market to people's awareness. Oh, this isn't going to stop. And when the panic of that sets in, it'll be too late to go out there. You're going to get fucking run over. There are people going to start to kill each other over food in fucking first world countries. So is that more trauma? Am I doing trauma again?
Oh, no.
A little bit. It's funny. I was actually watching the last Black Order Rivals, and in it we were talking about the brief food shortages that there were in the States and like the food lines. It's when there's not even food lines, that's when there's real trouble, and that's what we're going to be seeing.
Can you imagine America going back to, like Tiki said, soup kitchens in the fucking 2020s? This Gen Z pussy soy boy generation ain't ready for that shit.
No.
These motherfuckers are trying to figure out if they're gonna fucking cut, snip, whatever the fuck. They ain't ready to fucking figure out where food's coming from. They don't say he, she, they, fuck you, this coming back, whatever the fuck. They're fucking wrecked. You got fucking Gen Z out here trying to figure out if they're gonna fucking get a poodle add-on to their fucking entire ensemble. The Putin's over trying to kill everybody. We're in 2 different fucking worlds, But you'd like to see this be something that's going to happen over there, And we just saw the entire crisis with the Ukrainians, and the news reported like this isn't something like the Middle East where it's always war. This is Europeans. This is something different because they're better than us. Well, Putin's about to bring fucking Iraq and Afghanistan right in your fucking backyard in France and Belgium. Now what?
Mm-hmm.
Europe is war torn for fucking as long as it's been alive. You just had a small break. This is actually what's natural for Europe is war. What do you guys think?
Even historically, like having civilization and the history of the world and humans is a rare thing, and it hasn't usually lasted very long. You have an empire that lasts for a couple hundred years maybe, and then just fucking pure chaos.
The fundamentals don't sit there. Once you have total domination, complacency takes hold, and the key fundamentals that let you be such a fucking totalitarian regime fucking wane. And it allows somebody who's been pinned by that fucking energy that you once had to fucking build enough hate to fight you back, but fight back a different kind of person than the person that ran him over. This is where crash cycles are built, right? And the West is facing fucking likely the end of its time as an empire. The world is as tilted as it could be. The recession showed it. Once the fucking U.S. goes down, every country burns till the U.S. comes back up. So there is no fucking anything left to conquer. Everyone's fucked. Everyone's absolutely crippled. But in the meantime, while you fucking cornered the entire world and stole the equities of the planet, you've given fucking these guys economies of scale to fucking operate at cost bases you can't fuck with. And now they control fucking all the base commodities that are key to fucking advancement of fucking our fucking goals. China controls rare earths. Putin controls, with Ukraine, 1/4 of the world's grain supply, through which he controls the feed for most of the cattle and fucking other animals that are used feed off of that. He's got control of energy. And now he's forcing settlement in rubles to fucking thwart the dollar. And he can do this. Once you have hunger, he's going to get people to come to the table and say, yeah, I'll just do the fucking transaction as long as I turn the heat back on. This has got crazy implications. China is asking for settlement in the oil from Iran in wands. They're saying, fuck you. And Saudi said, fuck you to oil production increase. You got people that were never friends working together to just stop one enemy. And this is what it's going to take. The whole world versus the United States right now is what you're looking at. This is something that you want to see stay on TV. But this is real, and this is the first world. This isn't about Africa or South America. This is fucking Europe and North America that are going to be in the face of this fucking cannon. Gentlemen.
Yeah, like I don't think many people realize how much power that having the dollar being the base currency of the world has given us. But the switching over to the yuan and the ruble for like very important assets is hugely devastating for the United States as our power source.
Given you the ability to leverage of equities that you have right now, except when you move away from the dollar average, that has huge implications for you.
Yeah,
I'm stuck.
Go ahead.
I'm stuck on the delicate balance that the food supply for the U.S. is, like how wrecked that's going to get, and it's going to take a minute to play out, and then when it does, to recover from it is going to take even longer. You know, to restore the balance just to feed the country.
What does it take to fucking regrow, already a damaged supply infrastructure that's never kept up with the growth rate of the population, done worse since the fucking banking crisis, and now has another fucking reason to get delayed? You're never catching up. It's just a differential. It's widening.
Mm-hmm.
And now this just makes it, exacerbates it. It pushes starvation from the third world into the first world. And we talked about this. You're going to push more people over to the side of an equation that didn't expect that was possible to actually fucking happen.
Yeah, man. Fuck.
Fuck.
How do you get soldiers to fight a war when they don't have energy to? They can't find any food.
You know what? What killed Hitler? Fighting fucking Russia. Hunger and cold.
That's right.
What is he lining the world up for? Hunger and cold. That break any army. That breaks anybody's spirit, bro. Just think about it. Who can fucking really pick up a fight when you're cold and hungry?
No one.
And no one sees the real reality of it. You're not hungry yet. You think you are, motherfucker. Yeah, they got fucking baby food on lockdown. Yeah, grains are down. Wait till the next harvest and there's no fucking food and you go, oh, that was the real fucking play.
And you see that $100 a pound chop meat, you're gonna shit.
Right, this is what I posted, 2017. Russia and China have been working on the fall of the West since 2001. I have been watching this a long time. This tweet is fucking 5 years old. This isn't sort of fucking an obvious thing that was coming. This is not accidental. This was always gonna fucking happen. It's pretty nuts, This is part of the chains. This is what I could recover. I haven't got the whole threads. But Russia plus China alliance, that's only for one enemy. And we got a numbskull at the wheel put in office by one of these two guys. Right? Trump is not accidentally there, and the fracture to NATO that's now faced with stopping this, that's not working well together, behind Trump weakening NATO, you got to look at it, and you got to be a dumbass if you don't realize that's part of the playbook. You really believe that Trump won that election outright, and there was no mass marketing and Facebook tilting the fucking population's bias over to the other side of the equation, you didn't get what was happening. They picked your president through the system that normally allows the U.S. politicians to make you pick your president, because people are malleable. You can make people believe whatever the fuck they want. I
was gonna say, I also think it's kind of interesting. I was just thinking about the whole Trump thing. I was just thinking, how do we end up with Biden? But it kind of makes sense because they're running this kind of.
He's gonna lose again.
Biden is the aftermath. It's part of the equation of, okay, we'd rather settle for someone else, even though it's shit or not, because we just don't want Trump. And I guess that's the after effect that he probably planned for as well. He creates like this kind of disturbance, and then.
Well, you could put Trump back in now, which is actually fucking crazy. And now
that's insane.
The guy who was friendly, that actually allowed you to get the foothold you have to fuck with us now, is gonna come back. This is chess like on a whole nother level, right? The U.S. is gonna pick their fucking poison and help you kill themselves. I didn't know what the fuck I just said, but you know what I'm saying. God damn it.
Yeah, his approval ratings have really fallen. Joe Biden.
His approval is the lowest in his presidency. He really can't recover from the situation he's in right now. He's walked into fucking an attack on a country that they weren't really prepared for. They really didn't think this through. So let's see. Let's see if we fast forward to some other stuff, So one of the things we had here, let's see, can I open this original? When we did Vix Mageddon, right? We talked about this. I hope I have this on here. So yeah, and this one we talked about it, right? This is 2019, before the pandemic showed up, and the fundamentals, right? This call is all connected from 2015 on. This entire call is part of the 100-year macro Dow wave that we'd be in, and the fundamentals that would be going on in it. This is the VixMageddon shockwave that's been building, being crazy. The world's been getting crazier as this thing fucking like ramps up towards this. This is 2019. With 2020, did the show with KJ, and he said the world is entering a new phase where large outbreaks of deadly diseases such as Ebola are the new normal. The World Health Organization has warned. So that comment is why I was aware this is definitely coming. It was out there, just not valued, right? Let's see. Sorry, I lost track of it. As a result, the WHO said countries and other bodies need to focus on preparing for a new deadly epidemics. The warning comes as Republic of Congo is dealing with the second largest Ebola outbreak, blah, 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 blah. So this is my take on it. Is it me, or is there like no mention of this in mainstream media? Big problem. In the States or Europe. This combined with anti-vaxxers, right? Who even thought about that? Helping to revive once thought to have been beaten diseases and driving new waves of measles in America has got the early makings of a scary correlation in an asset class we don't want to see start pumping. As we as a species are going parabolic, the fundamentals that are necessary to bring about a large-scale crash cycle that actually crashes the human population are taking shape. Between a rising global tensions between very powerful nuclear nations, I know it's underneath it, a pandemic, and the potential for a famine, which are the three things you need for a collapse. These things now reared their head in 2019, and they're visible. So with the VIX shockwave and the location of where we are, the fundamentals to pump this and correct the biggest risk assets to which humans themselves are correlated are in the making now. We have those pieces, right? So this is our big worry, that that's actually possible. So you guys, you can take that while I look up some more stuff I got here. Oh, yeah. Okay, no. I have that next piece. So, yeah, there it is. So this chart actually includes this, right? The human parabolic, this graph over here. Right? This is the human population from 1750. And this is industrialized versus developing. So developing world, obviously is, is like the third worlds and stuff like that, where they breed kind of like wildfire, and not so much industrialized world. This is an unsustainable arc. This is our human parabolic. But you look at this graph and you could be mistaken and kind of say, okay, it's been pumping from 1750, but that's not true. It's been pumping for 11,000 years and requires context to realize where this parabolic is, right? This blow off right here from 1900 takes us from 2 billion humans to fucking 7 billion, in 170 years. But you got pumping from 1100, from like next to nothing for the previous fucking 11,000. When you really back that out, this chart looks fucking crazy if you think about it in a crash cycle. Oh, we have to wrap this up. I got a power issue. Shit, where's my cable?
Oh, Jesus.
1 sec.
Oh, no.
Fuck. That's something that cannot happen live. 1 sec.
Director Vale, let's go.
This is right at the part.
I gotta save this. 1 sec. Fuck.
Shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches.
Yo.
Oh, we're back.
Alrighty.
My bad. Got a situation sorted. We're sorted. Whoopsie. All right. So, yeah, this is the good part, right? This is the part we're going to traumatize everybody. So, this is a projection made back in the KJ specials. Forget which show exactly. I believe it's 2020. Don't be frozen, Okay. And this is the NASDAQ. The original crash cycle, and the arc that came from it, right? A fractal of its former self. Exactly the structure we had forecasted should ultimately happen again, right? We had looked at this thing, looked at the structure of what happens in a crash cycle. You have different trajectories. Oh, shit. Sorry about that. So this is a NASDAQ. All right, it was a fractal projection we made in 2020 where we try to use the structure of a crash cycle to project the next structure of the next crash cycle, understanding that crash cycles crash into larger or smaller resolution crash cycles. So, right, a wave can crash into a bigger wave, into a smaller wave, into a larger wave, and within that, they're all crash cycles, just at various scales. Structurally, this region is followed by the blow off. Humans are in this region, right? Blowing off, this insane acceleration. This is the projection we made here, and we projected out where it should actually go. It went further than we said, but this was actually the exact model to project it again. This is a risk asset that's tied to us, right? If the NASDAQ actually has completed a fractal version of the crash cycle of the internet era, then the growth assets themselves are done, and what remains is our industrial, commoditized, food structural baskets, which are tied to the Dow Jones. So the Dow himself's projection, we also made in that show, has the ability to run further without the NAS. This is an interesting era for us where we are in the cycle for humans, right? Because when this one's done and begins to correct, likely the human population in the West at least begins to correct, or population globally begins to correct with the biggest risk asset correction in the world. So we look at this guy, we zoom out and to look at this thing and really understand what is really happening here. We look at the fact that growth assets themselves have stalled at the old internet bubble high, and this entire collapse is the collapse of growth assets and the pump of what we see in commodities right now. This continues and this goes crashing away, then growth assets stay dead and commoditize, risk off, crisis mode, defense shit keeps being strong. And when that runs out of gas, likely we're in the real VIX-Mageddon wave. So let's look at this graph, DJI, right? And let's turn this shit off and let's think about how a parabolic chart looks, right? Logarithmically, we normalize shit. It does look so crazy. But when we look at that chart of humans, right, we see that crazy parabolic graph of humans. And I told you, right, this little part you see go like this, from here, 1750. This is really just a piece of it, right? This chart really comes from somewhere completely different.
Right.
So let's think about this real quick. Now it's 100. When you look at this, you could think back here, right? 85, like not just the 90s, but this whole thing's a bull at resolutions you can't see. Imagine, if you will, that this is human beings. Flux, you don't want to leave before this. So let's just say, if you will, this is human beings, end of the ice age. And this is something like where you are now, right? Pumping away after you've changed trajectories, after you've had your grinding trajectory, right? The purple, the fuchsia, and then your acceleration trajectory in the crash cycle that happens, your cyan, right? We want to relate this to how the crash cycle on the human graph, which is exactly this, running from fucking, thousands of humans, to eventually at a later point, hundreds of thousands to millions, to fucking your first billion, to your first fucking almost 2 billion, and then fucking leverage, and then fucking kaboom, right? Humans go fucking crazy. But this has an ending, and the fundamentals that change to kill the fucking internet bubble, the fundamentals that change to kill the housing bubble, they're in your face, right? Incomes don't keep up with prices. There cannot possibly fucking continue to go. Right now, there's an abundance of labor and of slack in the system, and the fundamentals of what made this an empire are completely fucking upside down. You have fucking gender confusion, all kinds of shit that we see at the ends of various empires in the world, from Egypt to fucking Carthage. I said Carthage.
Correct.
Right. So the fundamentals we see
Who's
shifting
that?
is that the West is not really running their shit right. Nothing looks like the way that we were going before. We're taking over the world. We've taken over the world. So we've completed our mission, and now we're complacent. No one knows that they're a boy or girl. Up, down, left, right, and fucking center. You're fighting inside out. Nothing is right. Your political parties are busy trying to rob the country, and it's exactly like the senators at the end of Rome, doing what the fuck they did. Same thing. So we look at this. Go ahead.
No, that's absolutely right. No,
So-
people don't really realize what happened when the Roman Empire fell. But as you said, deviancy literally hit all-time highs.
So let's think about it.
And the politicians started robbing them.
When we trade, right, we trade down crazy resolutions. We trade 15 seconds and shit like that. And I was like, how can we relate this to the human graph? So I'm gonna show you something that we talked about last night that I think makes it simple to understand. So this is intraday at 15 seconds, right? And we trade futures together. We trade down a reses like this. It's extremely difficult because it burns you the fuck out from the amount of bars you process. You process a lot. So let's look at how many bars are in a day. at this resolution, about 1,560 bars in a day, right? You work that on like a daily, it's like trading through fucking a couple years of data, right? If you have 250, 260 trading days in a year, then this is like trading through like 6 to 7 years, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So let's try to reduce the human population entire lifespan to a graph like this to get the resolution where we can manage it. And so the point of this is, that's nice that stayed there, right? We want to envision an entire cycle in that many bars to give you an idea of like what bar are you in. So it's 5,000 bars in that right now, 5,000 daily bars, or 5,000 days. Does it give me bars here for that? I don't think it can fit on the screen, can it? Let's see weekly, if we can get the whole thing on the screen for weekly. We might pull it off. Almost, yeah, almost there. So let's see what we get now. All right, is it right there? How many bars do we have? 3,000 bars, so we can go 2 days. Now, if this is the human population graph, like where are we when you look at the trajectory that we saw, you know, on that last graph? Let me get that graph on the larger version. Guys, you guys go and discuss that real quick while I get this.
Yeah, it's fucking scary. That's
the main description. Huh?
Yes, fuck.
I've been watching Mad Max to get prepared. You know, you got to know what's going to happen.
So we look here. This is 1900. That's where the Federal Reserve was created. And this is that change in trajectory I told you guys about, right? The fuchsia to the cyan. So what does it take to fucking bring around the crash top? We know the fundamentals are shifting underneath what this is, right? What's led to this, the credit leverage world that, you know, central bankers have introduced to us. So, okay.
That's right.
I get that. So we think about this and, you know, what does the top look like in its formation? You know, it really depends what increment you're going to look at things and what resolution are we looking at 11,000 years on. Are we looking at an increment like this? You know, because we don't have the kind of resolution we do in intraday. And I thought about it, you know, you reduce this thing and you think about it, what's the size of the candle that we should be looking for that would be like the top candle, right? At this resolution, this candle starts in October 1999, and the next candle, you know, at 3 months, eclipses what is the high structure that forms. If you take the resolution a little bit higher, you know, you have one candle that's really the fucking climax, right? That it'll fit into at a various resolution.
That's right.
The candles that you have to have for 11,000 years is fucking, to make this kind of make sense, is candles that are about 5 to 7 years in size. If the climax high is going to come in on a projection of Dow Jones in like 2027 to 2029 and then begin the collapse to the complacency shoulder to like really begin the crash of VIX in 2035, then at a certain resolution, you know, the top then, if that's a 5-year to 7-year candle, 2022 to 2024, you're in the candle that makes the high already now. So you're in VIX Mageddon's final blow-off candle at a specific resolution when you think about it. So the single candle would have opened this year, and it can still happen, go all the way to 2027. You can climax out in the Dow there and begin the corrective structure in the tail end of the 20s at the resolution that we're in now, given the fundamentals we are, given the trajectory you're seeing, and given what's unfolding and likely to unfold with the famine and an increasing hostility, because this is a position you know Putin can't back out of. This is the end game strat, so this is going to be seen through. He's either going to pull off the reversal of fucking a one world fucking like, you know, totalitarian rule, and stop it and reverse it and make Russia a going concern, or he's going to lose miserably and we wiped out of history. So when you really look at this right now, there is a strong possibility that we are in the last candle of this entire population arc itself right here. So this is kind of, we're being as direct as we can on this. I know it doesn't sound great, but, you know, it's some crazy shit.
Jesus. I mean, you taught us how to play, like, with your Dildonomics TA. Like, that's how you play a candle,
Yeah.
right?
That is how you play it. So, ultimately this projection that we did here on Truth About Money, this is, where we are. The Cold War Part 2 would be in this wave, the second space race, and fucking ultimately AI is going to hijack everything from you. But that's another story. But we're fighting for Mars in a Cold War, and the world superpowers, they're playing something else, right? Their eyes are off this planet. The rest of the world, the sheep are looking down at the ground. It's two different movies. But the movie you need to be paying attention to is the one where you're looking in space. This is much bigger than what you see on the ground. The ground is just really the shadow of what's really happening up in orbit. This is a battle for fucking like legacy as far as humans go in this solar system. And who's going to be the face of this world if you ever get a fucking visitor we all find out about? Is it going to be meeting fucking like Captain Kirk or Captain Yang? There's somebody who wants to be a representative of this planet who feels their population warrants being the face of the planet and does not want to sit idly by. China and Russia is a play for control of the planet. It's on that scale, and a final play for the control of the planet. Because the weapons we have right now, this is a different kind of fight than any other we've seen in our fucking written record.
Is the West going to be able to be? Is the West capable of actually fighting on this many different fronts? I mean, this
is the one moment that you don't have that kind of allies you wanted. You don't have OPEC behind
you.
You don't have cost of fuel. You don't have food supplies. You can't even fucking reproduce your weapons. China has access to the rare earth metals that control your smart weapons, so you can't even replace the javelins you gave to Ukraine fashion in 6 months. You tell me that you can get rid of fucking like what they gave them like 700 javelins that was like a third of their supply. The fuck can you fight a war for 3 weeks? Just shoot a couple missiles, you're fucking broke. So we don't even have the capacity to actually rearm. We can't feed ourselves. We can't rearm. We don't control fucking the commodities. We're tied up in fucking hella credits. You're trying to deflate the system right now, the central bank, while you've got a fucking entire economy wrecked. All the stimulus you put in the economy can't go anywhere because all the hoses in the engine are pulled off. And you've got Putin fucking slamming into fucking Europe. This is the perfect shitstorm on every fucking front for their one chance to get from under the fucking NATO. This is like a battle of the ages we're in. This is like we got front row seat because it's a first world front row seat to the craziest fucking shit you could ever dream of. Okay, is everybody fully traumatized? How am I doing?
I watched the chat stop at the chart, and they were just quiet, like just stopped.
We don't like it when we get silence. It usually means it's right.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. So, what do you guys think out there? Should I take some questions from the audience? Is the audience dead, or how are they doing?
You got Patty Newman saying instead of Captain Yang, maybe we'll get Captain Musk.
You could get Captain Musk.
I think that's a little bit hopium.
Musk is the face of fucking the West, and I don't think so. They don't want him or anybody representing the West out there. If his name is fucking, Milosevic or some fucking crazy shit, or fucking Yang, their goal, if the BRICS system gets control and lead of this planet, then the face of the world is not going to be a Western fucking front anymore. And ultimately, China's the big baddie behind all of this, letting Russia do the dirty work.
Well, for the last half a century or so, like NASA has been falling behind in the space race. Like it's really, really clear that the US actually needs either Blue Origin or SpaceX to actually be able to compete with China and Russia, and for them to be able to try to do that while trying to fight famine and hunger at the same time, and also lack of sort of basic natural resources as well. That's trouble.
Galaxy Surfer makes a great point, and something we talk about in other shows, right? Most people, when you look at the chart, a linear scale chart, the distortion is really great because the percentages are less in the higher part. That's why you use log charts to kind of take that away. But what people fail to notice in a bull market is that the bull market, really what you think of it is not it, right? From here, from dust to 1998, before you care, this is how much market has actually risen, right? The real bull market starts here. Your early adopters enjoy the real bull market, right? But from here to like, oh, I heard about tech stocks. That's a 180% move versus a 1,000% move, right? The bulk of what has been the rapid growth of civilization has actually already happened. You go from a few hundred people to 2 billion. That's an insane percentage jump. 2 billion to fucking 7? Not so much. Give you an idea which part is what part of the human graph, right? So, very good point, Galaxy Surfer. As far as crypto being fucking worthless with risk assets, not all of them, right? There's going to be a specific U2 that makes sense because crypto is an interesting place. With a brick system and Swift system and like a bifurcation of the global order, what becomes the real utility to settle across a system that's basically being severed in communication? Isn't it fucking crypto? That's the craziest part, right? When you have to fucking, we literally can't interact with Russia and anybody who allies with them. How will fucking money really get from this space around all these controls? The only thing left is crypto. You see strength in fucking privacy coins probably for that reason. You really have a fucking problem in the world now with global settlement. So there are certain cryptos that definitely, maybe could handle the economies of scale of what wants to go cross border. Not everything, not maybe a Dogecoin. Keep Dogecoin in mind though. If Elon does buy fucking Twitter, Dogecoin probably becomes the currency of Twitter, right? But that's a whole nother conversation. The fact is that cross-border settlement through crypto is going to make the most fucking sense now with the kind of crazy controls that the U.S. has shown. Does anybody want to have a government be able to stop all the transactions out of your bank account? Russia has $100 billion. You can't use that. Jesus fucking Christ. That's only going to scare people to keep hundreds of millions of dollars in fucking cyberspace, in blockchain, and keep it the fuck out of any institution where you have the ability to ever tell me I can't use shit I got. So, it's definitely fucking some crazy times we're looking at, and this pandemic's likely to come back. People being sick, being hungry, being cold in the first world. Let's talk about fucking ghost guns. Americans have more guns than fucking God, and guns are untraceable, stockpiling for the better part of 6-7 years since 3D models, printed models came out. You heard Biden talk about an executive order trying to fucking put a stop to those, because in a fucking food crisis, you're going to find out who the real enemy is. That's going to be the militias of the United States that are armed to the fucking teeth and are fucking extreme as hell. This is going to be an internal fucking civil war that rips America apart. Russia's not going to have to fire a bullet. Your biggest threat's always close to home, and right now America's biggest threat are the people who have stockpiled bullets relentlessly since 2009 when they saw Obama's black face and planned for the fucking end. When you have fucking hunger in the streets, those end of world's doomsday preppers are going to be the most well-armed motherfuckers you've ever seen. Most are very extremely nationalist, and they're going to fight for their own, and they're going to just watch America, the lie that it was a land for all people, shred itself into dust. Hey, Kaz,
really
quick
scary.
question. What year approximately you predicting last week? Just said it. 2027 to 2029 should be the blow-off high before you start to correct into 2030s. So within that region. So that's why I said if you're running 5 to 7 year candles, you're likely in the candle that makes that high. So pretty nuts. Interesting. Black coin utility rises in the scenario. Motherfucking Galaxy Surfer has to be from fucking ancient times if you brought up black coin, bro. Say what? Use crypto 2014 right there without a fucking doubt. Nobody knows that coin. Black coin is gonna change everything, man. What was the site? CoinKite? Whatever the fuck. Black coin is gonna change the world. I was in that pump, man. I gotta exit that bitch over 90,000 sats. I think it was crazy. TikTok, Trump wants to ban XRP to 5. That doesn't make sense.
No, his username is TikTok's Trump.
XRP,
so he said
to
XRP to 589.
So that was a thought, right? XRP was the guy most illuminated for cross-border settlements, at least the technology, not specific XRP himself, but the way that it works to do instantaneous settlements of like millions of dollars. It showed the most promise for something like that. I don't know. That the fact that they're centralized is a threat there too, because the problem you're seeing with the U.S. and sanctions is that centralization allows you to attack any settlement system. So I think that's the death nail in XRP. His technology, not centralized, probably the best thing out there for it, right? His speed is unmatched, but his speed is unmatched because of centralization. So there's also that. We are attempting to get ourselves together and get the fuck out of this country. This is not a good place to stay. This is the front lines of where fucking it's gonna fucking blow the fuck up. But there are places in the world that are not in the crosshairs of this situation, at least not within the remaining lifespan of my life. So there's definitely places to sit back and watch this from afar and let these guys fucking rip each other's fucking eyes out, while they try to get to fucking Mars. Panel. So, how do you guys feel better? You feel better about our discussion? How you feel worse? What do you feel like?
I feel like there's much better context right now with everything that's going on in the world and where we are at in terms of like a candle for a blow off.
Rupert Gross said, "Which places are they? Tune in next week."
You know, it's crazy.
No, you
Dr.
don't want to
D's
jinx it.
The other night, saw a bit of this and couldn't sleep after it, you know, and it's no less like disturbing the second time, you know, like, it's like, fuck, like to see the chat go quiet was exactly the same reaction I had, you know, and it just laid there staring at the ceiling like, fuck.
Well, Winter Trader says, "Come down under." So my thought process on that, if you think about the geographic location of Australia, right? Australia, I think, is going to be the nation that breaks ranks with NATO because they have to, because of geographic location. And they will be in a position where China will have leverage to be like, you do business with us or you die with the West. And I think Australia will make that choice to save themselves. It makes no sense to stay like steadfast to the side of the West in the location you are. No more sense than it made for India to do it either, right? Australia's in a place where geographically that makes no sense. And if Australia goes amid a fucking, like, you know, a famine and a pandemic, NATO, the front, its facade is going to be forever cracked. So it seems like something that you want to pay attention to. Like, this is a hell of a movie. There's nothing in the theaters coming out that's going to be as good as what the fuck you're about to watch. I feel for you if you happen to be in harm's way. People are not going to take this seriously until bullets are landing in your fucking backyard. But understand this: Putin is 69. And this is for legacy. This is for his fucking people. This is for freedom, right? They lived under the foot of the West, making up rules to steal shit from you and fucking starve your women and children into the ground. This is for fucking all the marbles, you know? What's up? Yeah, I'm still alive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, still on the line.
What's going on? Okay, I thought something happened to the stream. So the stream's
The
okay?
other part.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine on this end.
she's not-
The other
Yeah,
part,
it's just
though,
like you said.
right, is also with the food stuff. When it gets scarce, it's going to be your own neighbors you got to worry about too. No matter how friendly or cool they might be, people get hungry enough, you're going to have to worry about them too.
Yeah,
It's-
you gotta stockpile weapons. It's the craziest thing. I'm not the most gun pro guy, but you better be able to protect it. And when people come in your front door and it's going on and crazy, there ain't gonna be enough cops to be called. You're gonna have to be able to fucking blow some motherfuckers down the hallway and make sure they can't get to your family.
And cops are going to be trying to eat too.
Cops are gonna be trying to eat too.
Yeah.
Cops gonna leverage their position.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Cops are just going to become basically bandits at that point. And what happens in like things like this is right now your sphere of influence, things that affect you, is kind of like worldwide if you're in most like Western nations. But your sphere of influence is going to shrink extremely small. It's going to be who's in the nearest 10 miles.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I mean, you're not gonna want people to know you have a stockpile of food. That's gonna be dangerous too, right? So all you fucking Gen Z fucking soy protein motherfuckers, don't fucking Instagram sure I have fucking 6 years of non-perishables, or you're gonna get a fucking visit from somebody you don't want to fucking meet.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Because you know you're dying to brag about how you got ahead of the curve. Oh, I've got plenty of rice. Well, motherfucker, the Chinese are gonna come knocking. Is Africa a good place?
Your neighbor,
She just
your
asked,
old homie from high school who follows you on Instagram is going to come knocking.
like, bro, I got the market corner to fucking sardines, yo. Bitch, I'm gonna be right over because I'm fresh out. It's gonna go down like that, bro. Don't be flashing the sardines. The sardines are gonna be the new ledger, bro. You got motherfuckers wearing chains of motherfucking sardines and it should be like, yo, I'm flexing hard. This is the extra virgin olive sardine, bitch. I mean, it's whatever's the currency, you know, whatever you take. Can we put sardines on the blockchain?
Sardine coin coming
Sardine
soon.
coin coming, right? But this is no joke. I mean, this is fucking for real. So don't go telling everybody you've got more food than them. That's just dumb, right? Don't tell me I've got 15 blocks of gold in my fucking safe under my bed. You'll die. Shut the fuck up. So that's a fucking memo. Do we have the memo emojis? We have to get those.
Yeah, I don't know how to pull them onto YouTube, but we can figure out.
Okay, you guys laughing at your own demise now? See, we can laugh about this. You know, I mean, what the fuck are you gonna do? Cry in the corner? You just gotta fucking do what we gotta do, man. I'm ripping hard for the fucking sardines and fish motherfuckers. I can't use that word, but you know what time it is.
Fuck Lime Gang, we're going Sardine Gang.
Fuck Lime Gang, Sardine Gang, bitch. That's how we do this, bitch. We're stinking up the whole motherfucking block.
Now we're gonna have to raid. We're gonna have to raid Lime Gang so we don't get scurvy.
I take
Thinking
enough
about what you
mushrooms.
were
I'm ready to die. Hashtag sardine gang. You already know, man. So this is some context on some things we've been paying attention to. This is, like I said, all my analysis is interconnected across time, and so it's never different analysis. It builds onto itself with the human narrative that's unfolding in front of us. It's not the best narrative right now, but chance favors the prepared mind, right? And all we can do is be prepared. So, Black Order 3, Hunger Games, it's real. It's nothing to laugh about. It's definitely a change in the old guard. If we see the U.S. dollar hegemony fall and a real power in the East rise, that is something like we've never seen. I mean, what's going to be considered a success in this world? What's going to be considered beautiful in this world? Every fucking normality that you've ever known is going to change. It's definitely something to strap in. I take precautions. Prices are rising. Liquidity is king in an environment like this. People are going to become cash starved. Things are going to cost a fortune. You don't want to be out of cash, out of food, and fucking at the mercy of what's to come from this government or fucking the world orders that are fighting. You the most prepared person stands the greatest chance. Can it go fucking completely awry and many of us not make it? Yeah. But this is real shit. People have blasted every one of my predictions for fucking as long as I put them out there, and I've counted on it. That is the biggest tell that you likely have something that nobody else fucking sees yet. We don't pull this shit out of our ass. Narratives for Putin, for Mars, all of it, they were in the public media. They were just not valued at the time, The media keeps us fucking freaking out about every next fucking thing that doesn't fucking matter. There's so much information that we're all aware of, but what to value as the important thing is always a fucking question. This is the important thing, right?
Yeah.
Putin doing what he's doing in fucking Europe, this is the important thing. There is no more important thing going on right now, and to even suggest a guy with nuclear weapons that's got the resolve this man's got is going to lose faster than fucking ISIS or Al-Qaeda. You are smoking better drugs than I can get my hands on, and my shit's on fucking delivery. So, that being said, we're gonna wrap up right here. I think we covered enough stuff to traumatize most of the audience. We will be resuming an evening show for an evening wrap in the week to catch some of the guys who aren't able to catch morning stuff and get a different feel at the end of market days versus the opening. Likely on Tuesday and Thursdays, it will be the Winter After Dark 2.0 returning. Hope you guys like the fucking end of world fucking get up for Black Order. We thought we'd fucking kick it up a notch. Why does the circle of influence shrink? Don't know what's going on there.
That was what in reference to what I was saying.
Oh, I didn't
before.
get it.
About when shit hits the fan, what happens and your neighbors and shit. Yeah, because if you're concerned about food, you only care about food. You don't care about what's going on in fucking the news or on Twitter right then. You care about, I need to eat right now. My kids are hungry.
How many people do you want to have access to fucking the knowledge that you have food either? Your circle of influence has to shrink, or you have statistically more chances of danger. One of the things that gets the thief caught is having fucking accomplices. You want to keep a secret, you do it by yourself. And the more people that are participants in a fucking bank heist, the statistically higher your chances go of getting busted because only one motherfucker's got to open his mouth to wreck you. The more motherfuckers that know how much fucking food you have in a fucking crisis is the greater your statistical chances of having your fucking front door coming in on you or your fucking kids. So take this shit seriously. As funny as we've been about it, this is a edutainment. It's kind of crazy. What we're talking about is probably the most dire subject matter we've done in a show, but it's here now. It's in front of your faces, and you got to navigate what the current environment is. You can't sit there wishing it was something else, right? This is the new normal, and the new normal is going to keep getting crazier and crazier and crazier. That VIX chart is building to something real fucking serious, and at the baseline, in a few months, VIX's baseline trend is going to be at 21. And literally most market activity will take place now north of 21. And it's going to be a market we're going to basically navigate that will be crazier than anything we've seen before because the whole world wishes it would go back to something else. And that's a crowded trade. Gentlemen, I appreciate you guys joining me to help discuss Hunger Games, the current goings on, recap Space Cash and the motives that are behind the world powers and the situation we see going on TV, versus what most people believe is happening on the ground or in space.
Right. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Anytime.
Everybody fully traumatized out there in the audience. You guys are feeling really, really good, really energetic. The world's ending. Go live life, bitches. Don't sit in your house. We already did that for COVID. It's all you got, though. So let's hope we miss this one, right? We miss this one.
Well, Don Vito made a good point. He was like, Don Vito was saying, oh, let's convince everyone to value it. But how do you realistically convince anyone to value it if they don't even want to look here?
A valuable thing is ignored. That's just what it is.
We can only get
That's right.
We can only get 100 people to come to this live. Like shit.
This is a show about the end of the fucking world. We got 450 in Discord that are all from the show that failed to show up. This is like the smallest audience ever of any Black Order cast cycle. You guys know what happens when there's like a skeleton crew on our shows and like no one shows up?
That's right.
You guys know what happens.
Yeah.
That's that empty space, boy.
Okay.
So,
Fucking Steve just did a fucking paid comment. I wish we went back to the way things used to be.
Oh,
we're all gonna die.
No.
Who wrote it? Who said it?
SD Donato.
These the new fucking Leon. Put that on your graph. And that's gonna be the SD Donato reminisce level. I reminisce. Yeah, we're wrecked. Fucking guys don't know how this jinx works. I fucking told you, bro. I fucking told you. I had a blast doing this show. Look for us more on YouTube. If you guys like this shit, like it. Fucking share with your friends. Get them to fucking peep it. Stock up on food. Don't play that shit. Your friends laugh at you about stocking up on food. Go buy the food. You can sell them back at a markup. That's a side hustle. Or not. Because they have to tell me about food. But like, seriously. Take this shit seriously, guys. The worst that happens, you have some extra shit, you know? Again, panel. Appreciate you guys. Burger, Dr. D, Tiki, Haka, fucking Miki.
Thank you for having us.
Anytime.
Appreciate you, man.
This has been Black Order, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed this shit. I hope you're feeling fucking excited about what's to come. Maybe not. If you're not, I understand. If you're in France, probably should move. France sucks. You know, Canada's not much better, but they're not in harm's way. But yeah, fuck France. Now I'm kidding. Good luck, guys. This has been Black Order 3 Hunger Games, bitches. I'll see you on the flip. Peace out.
Take care, guys.
Everybody.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready, bitches. Winternomics. Welcome. Winternomics.